all the way in Muskoka, we have...
So I'm Laura Gilmore from Wild Muskoka Botanicals. We're a small artisan wild foods company based out of the woods in northern Muskoka and Algonquin Park area. So we're here the first time at the Green Living Show, and we've partnered with a wonderful distillery, and we're sharing our wonderful wild crafted cocktail mixers here at the show today.
Okay, tell me about your different SKUs. I see you have 3 here in particular.
Yeah, so we are doing our Strawberry and Sumac Shrub, which is a concentrated drink mix. So I've hand-picked the strawberries in Muskoka last summer when they're nice and ripe, ready to eat and lovely and fresh, and I've flash frozen them. And then I wild craft staghorn sumac berries when they're nice and ripe in the summertime, and preserved that in nice organic apple cider vinegar and a good organic cane sugar. And we've made a really nice concentrated drink mix that we're putting in our drink. And we are also putting in the drink our citrus and roots bitters. So bitters act like salt and pepper in a cocktail, really bringing together the different flavors. So our nice citrus and roots bitters is made with different wild crafted roots that we harvest in Muskoka, some really lovely aromatic lemon peel and lemon balm, and as well as some nice local raw honey to Muskoka. So we've got that in our cocktail. And then we're garnishing our cocktail today here with a spruce tip sugar. So at the Green Living Show, and really featuring the tastes of Ontario, they really wanted us to keep the flavors local, and in cocktails people use a lot of citrus, so lemons and oranges. So the young spruce tips that we harvest have a very strong lemony flavor. So instead of putting lemon in our drinks, we've garnished our drink with a little bit of this spruce tip sugar, which has a nice lemony flavor to it.
Spruce tip sugar, I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
How did you get involved with using that?
Yeah, so my background is actually in botany and ecology, and I actually grew up, one of my neighbors was a forager. So when I was 5 years old, this lovely Italian woman used to take me out foraging in the woods.
Wow,
Yeah.
Imprinting 101.
Yeah, imprinting 101 at a very young age. Yeah. And then just kind of growing up in the woods and always being really interested in plants, I kind of wanted to pair a love of science and a love of understanding ecosystems and plants with actually looking at unutilized foods that grow in Ontario. So we grow all our wonderful foods in Ontario, but we harvest very little from what grows in the woods. And Muskoka, being a region that really doesn't have very much agriculture, focusing on wild foods is a way that we can bring in flavors and use products that are kind of underutilized, but are actually the main plants that grow in our landscape.
Wow, now is Muskoka more indigenous to this type of foraging than other parts of Ontario? Is it more rich?
Well, it's not necessarily. I find, again, there's not too many people even in Ontario who are doing foraging. The woman I actually learned from, she had learned in Italy, and I learned from her living in Niagara. So there actually is very few people actually doing foraging in Ontario, and it's something that I had to travel quite a bit and work with lots of different people throughout Ontario and even North America to learn from.
So what inspired you to come up with the idea to get these products here, these ingredients, and use them in a drink?
Yeah, well, for many years, working in ecology, I was always the funny ecologist who liked to forage a little bit on the side, and it was always something I did for fun. And then I started getting asked by a number of different people to come and teach for their wilderness schools, or horticultural clubs would hear that I knew about edible plants. And over a number of years, people kept asking me to come talk, and I would bring some of the things that I was making in my kitchen at home, some things I was just doing as a hobby. And over time, people kept saying, hey, you should do this, you should make a business out of this. So it was about 10 years of kind of research and development and testing things, and then over time I just decided to quit my day job and start this business.
And how did you come up with the idea to put this in a drink?
Well, what I found is I make lots of different wild foods products, but when I started telling people that they could put something in a cocktail, people would get extra excited. And so over the last few years, we've definitely picked up that thread of interest, and with the kind of resurgence of craft cocktails really happening, especially in Canada right now, we started putting some of our ingredients that we're making in drinks and finding that people were just really receptive to it.
Wow. So this is your first attempt in using these ingredients in a drink, or do you have other recipes with other?
Yeah, we've got some other ingredients, but for this show in particular, it was really great when we were actually approached by BD's Distillery to come and partner with them at the show to create the sweet cocktail for the show.
What an idea! Wow.
And it's just so perfect with Ontario grown vodka to pair that with lovely Ontario grown wild crafted cocktails.
Great. So for more information, contact info.
Yeah, so you can find us through Wild Muskoka, so wildmuskoka.ca, or you can find us at Wild Muskoka on Instagram and Facebook.
Thank you.